Buzz. I know this is something you didn't support, or at least how it was executed across the weekend.
I'm going to be one of those guys Peter V'landys just referred to as negative, and I am really passionate about this. I do support any move the NRL makes to look after player health and safety, and I've been banging on about it for years, so I applaud them for a crackdown. What I cannot come to grips with is that it has come around Magic Round. It is a complete panic attack as a result of...
Panic attack based on what?
It was a panic attack, Kenty, based on Drew Hutchison being put into the back of an ambulance and taken to hospital, and James Tedesco...
That wasn't a concussion.
No, but hold on. But there was no action taken on foul play. In the same play, James Tedesco miraculously wasn't knocked out. Now, they sacked Steve Chitty from the bunker. They sacked Matt Checkin. Then they said, we better... There was outrage, Kenty. You know there was. You know that everyone was blowing up about it. So what did they do? 48 hours before Magic Round, some coaches didn't even know until they were on their way to captain's run.
Hang on, what about this email that went around on May the 5th? Well, let me just pull you up there.
Yeah, but they put an email out.
We didn't know about it, we didn't get the memo. There was an email sent to everybody on May the 5th.
Well, the
That's
referee,
2.5 weeks ago.
The referee at Parramatta didn't know about it either, nor did the guy in the bunker. And it's obvious a lot of people...
Well, no, they didn't do their jobs. They got sacked.
Well, can I just finish? No, the problem with concussion isn't a 2-week problem. It's been an issue we've all known was taking a big bearing on sport for the last 3 years.
Yes.
Rather than ruin Magic Round, and Peter V'landys has always said, I listen to the fans, he changed rules on fan polls. You know he did.
I don't see how it was ruined.
Well, why?
How was it ruined?
Just tell me this,
Why was it ruined?
I spoke to a lot of players and ex-players up in Brisbane. They say to change a tackling technique, you don't just flick a switch.
Well, let me say this.
You don't, Kenty.
That might be the case, Buzz, but let me say this. From all the commentary I've seen, players and ex-players are the last people to come around to this new way that we need to think about the game. That didn't happen in my day, that's not the way we did it. Fact is, anything over the shoulder has been an illegal tackle since 1908. The fact that the NRL has finally cracked down, I think is well overdue. And to Peter V'landys' point, if they put it out and said, listen, before round 1, in round 10, we're going to announce the crackdown, so you've got 10 weeks. Yeah. You know what would have happened with the coaches? Right. They wouldn't have coached.
The difference is, you talk about ex-players and current players. You didn't pay for an airfare to Brisbane. You didn't pay for a hotel room. You didn't pay for your tickets into the game. They still got
their 8 games.
You didn't pay for your meal.
How does that ruin the game?
It was ruined, Kenty.
It wasn't ruined.
It was ruined.
I actually think...
what this crackdown, as I said, I support.
How's it ruined?
You know what they should have done? Last October, they knew concussion was a problem. They should have sent their memo out then, and every club could then adjust their defence.
They would not have.
I reckon they would.
Because you know why? The 16 coaches wouldn't have trusted the other coaches. They said, you know what, we're just going to have a wait and see approach here. They wouldn't have coached these big
coaches and players. To your point about coaches and players saying that you can't adjust tackling styles in a matter of a couple of weeks. I spoke to coaches and players today. Look at the Jaden Sewer example from Saturday night. He got binned for 10 minutes, then he came back on and made one of the best tackles of the game, probably the best tackle of the weekend. He adjusted his style.
But how do you know he wouldn't have made that tackle anyway? How do you know it was just
because you're not allowed to hit in the head now.
Were you guys happy with Chad Townsend's penalty?
No, that was garbage.
Have you ever seen anything worse?
Ridiculous.
It doesn't matter, Kenty. It was part of the crackdown.
We're talking about the concussions. I'll tell you what, everybody points to the fatigue factor. Okay?
Right. So you're ignoring Nathan Gibbs, a 37-year doctor.
So tell me how SASA, his high tackle that got him sent off, was due to fatigue. He shot out of the line like he came out of a cannon.
What I'm saying is the NRL changed the rules. They made a faster game.
There we go. Look at that.
Can I finish? They created a faster game with a lot more fatigue, which we love, which brings the Sam Walkers and those players in. But under fatigue, and I spoke to Nathan Gibbs, a 35-year doctor, says players under fatigue are going to make more mistakes and they in tackles like we're seeing.
I need to ask a question. So on the SASA case, that's not a practice tackle. So what are you unlearning there? That's just a reactionary brain snap. And that happens in a brutal collision sport like rugby league. Tell me, how are you unlearning that? He doesn't go to training.
Unlearning that?
He doesn't go to training and practice to get a guy high like that when he's coming off his line. No one practices that tackle. It's a brain explosion.
Well, so what's the problem with sending him up for it?
No, you're saying that these guys are going to learn something because of the harsh eating? Yes,
I'm
you
not
are.
saying-
You're
I'm
saying
saying that's not a
behaviour is going to
potato.
change.
They'll have to change because otherwise they'll get a sit down.
They will have
like
to.
Terrell
I'll tell you what
Fumiano,
they'll
who's got
have to do,
5
Ben.
weeks.
He stuck an arm out. That's poor. That was a poorly executed tackle. But most of these tackles, for example, Tyson Gamble, right? It was shoulder into the face. That if Josh Papali had dropped another couple of inches, it's a legal tackle.
but Kenny,
that's poor technique. He's got to learn to lower his tackle bars.
But that's a send-off in the 70s. Nothing's changed. That wasn't the weekend crackdown.
I doubt that would have been a send-off a fortnight ago.
And you
Buzz.
are talking in inches here. In a game that moves very quick.
Well, okay. If we're talking in inches, then it's also only inches you've got to adjust to.
Yeah, but it's easier to get it wrong when you are fatigued.
Well, you know what? If
at
you get it
speed.
wrong, bad luck. Bad luck. Because you know what? The fact is, this is where the game is going. You look at the NFL, the way they change their tackle techniques and any contact with the head, with the helmet to helmet and all that is all gone.
I agree with you on that.
So it was the whole fact that it was introduced.
Timing.
Peter
But I'll
V'landys'
tell you what
point
else drives
there-
me mad is the inconsistency of a lot of people who've had opinions on this, including Wayne Bennett, who on Saturday morning spoke to Peter and said, plough on, I back you, 4 weeks ago. What was he saying when Latrell Mitchell chopped an opponent in the head?
Oh, that was a love tap, that half-pike karate
Well, what did he
chop thing.
say?
It wasn't
It was
that
a
hard.
4-week
And it had
suspension.
loading. Yeah, because he had
And
loading.
he was
Buzz.
blowing up.
Oops. Under the new rules.
Yes, under the new rules now, yes.
So he shifted his
he's in
position. So
trouble.
I take Buzz's point, but I need to ask you this because there is no doubting that there were fans aggrieved up there. Okay, you mightn't have been aggrieved, but there were fans going, this is not the rugby league
but
we know.
I wonder how many fans-
So I need to ask, how long do we foresee this moving from high tackle crackdown to getting us to the desired outcome? Is
I
it
don't
weeks?
know.
Is it months?
I don't know. But to what V'landys said earlier, the clubs that catch on quicker will get an advantage out of it. Because if you're not losing players to the sin bin because you've adjusted your tackle technique and the opposition hasn't yet, then you're going to be playing against 12 men for more than probably 10 minutes a game.
I'll go a step further as well. If we want to, no one wants to see the images of Ryan Papenhuyzen laid out, iced on the turf and basically motionless for a couple of minutes. They could have gone harder in terms of the suspension. Like Terrell Fumiano, he's ended up with 5 weeks. If they want to eradicate it, go even harder.
Listen,
give him 10, and then all of a sudden we'll see it drop back real quick.
This argument about the fans, years ago, they threw people in the arena with lions because the fans wanted to see it.
Yeah.
They were happy to see it.
I walked out with them on Friday night, 15-minute walk, and they were filthy.
Well, Buzz, they've got to come around as well then.
Yeah, okay.
That's as simple as that. They've got to come around as well.
Kenty, with respect, you said last year that you wanted Biffo in Origin.
Oh, yeah, I'd like to. Yeah.
Biffo. What is going to happen in Origin this year? Are they going to be as heavy as they were in the weekend with this whole...
They have to be.
Will they be, Ben?
They have to be. You know why? Because this is a bigger issue. This is player
welfare.
welfare
You know
at stake.
the way Origin's played, there'll be 8 players left on each team.
That will be the true test, will it not? Once Origin arrives, whether they are
3 weeks away, Ben.
in the Origin contest
whether we
as they
want to
are
admit
across
to this
Magic
or
Round.
not, and for all the people at home who are outraged and love seeing that, one, there is nothing in the old rules or the new interpretation that determines how hard you are allowed to tackle someone. You're just not allowed to smash them in the face. But you can hit them as hard across the shoulders, through the chest, whatever you like. Nobody is saying you're not allowed to tackle hard anymore. That brutality that we still like in the game is still there. It just has to be executed properly. Over time, we have slowly become more tolerant to higher tackles. And
Kenty,
look at...
You use Jake Trebojevic
That is a
as an
straight
example.
good tackle. Look at that.
You use Jake Trebojevic
Look at
as
this
an
one.
example
One
on the
player
weekend.
out of 500.
But he's got brilliant
No, there's
technique,
two. Of course
he
right?
has.
And he folds
There's
blokes
another
in
one
half, and we celebrate the shots. There's another one there. That's a shot
That's
from
a
Jaden
great
Sewer.
collision, not perfectly legal under the current system.
So here's the next phase. So if we move to more of these styles of tackles, you know what that leads to? A quicker play the ball. Now, you get a quicker play the ball, that only gets compounded by the 6 again. You know, we introduced the 6 again to speed the game up and eliminate the wrestle. But if what we're doing today around high contact shifts us to more leg tackles, does the game not need to find a way for it to establish its rhythm again? Because it could end up like a game of touch footy. It will be that
I know
quick.
what you're saying there, Ben. And look, I remember, I've written this tomorrow. I remember talking to Ron Massey some years back, and he actually said to me, we need to reward the legs tackle. And it looked like if you didn't know Massey, it sounded like the sort of the poetic remembrances of an old man, right?
Yep.
Bring back the legs tackle. But the fact is, the game got itself into this situation because we stopped rewarding the legs tackle. Blokes were hanging onto the legs, blokes were flopping around like fish, and the referee would have to get them off. Unfortunately, you can't do that anymore. The game probably has to at some point, because for every time there's an action, there's always a reaction in this game. We probably need to start thinking about this. The one thing we haven't done here is actually think out what the repercussions of it all might be.